So my voices were talking to me, you need to make a sacrifice or we're going to come and get you, you need to do it.
In March 2014, the 15-year-old schoolboy James Fairweather was ready to kill for the first time. The serial killer-obsessed loner had no obvious reason for setting his sights on 33-year-old Jim Atfield. It was a brutal and savage attack. His mother, Julie Finch, will never forget the day she was told that her son had been murdered. When did you first hear then?
I did not hear anything until midday on the Saturday. Right. So I did not know anything until midday.
Who called or who knocked or what happened? How did you hear?
First thing was a knock on the door and it was two lady police officers.
What were you thinking when two police knocked on the door?
I didn't know who they were at first. I just opened the door. I was actually about to go out, so I opened the door and they sort of obviously asked me, I said yes, sort of thing, and invited them in. And I can't really remember a lot of what they actually said. All I can remember is hearing this almighty scream and suddenly realising it was me that was screaming.
When James Fairweather was eventually arrested, he told police he had no memory of the attack.
James Fairweather would later claim that he heard voices urging him to kill. Is it possible that something beyond his control would possess this 15-year-old boy to become a murderer?
James reported that he had been experiencing these voices in the period leading up to the killing. So my view would be that his hallucinations or voices was indeed part of his psychotic illness as a whole.
Despite making 5 arrests in connection with Jim's murder, the police failed to apprehend the killer. And 3 months after killing Jim Atfield, James Fairweather brazenly struck again. His second victim was 31-year-old Saudi Arabian student Nahid Al-Manea. She was attacked in broad daylight on the Salary Brook Trail on June the 17th, 2014.
After, I think, about 16 wounds, he then fled the scene. 2 men looking for a lost cat came across her and called the police. Police paramedics arrived, but there was nothing that could be done to save her.
It was another random and savage attack. Again, James Fairweather would go on to claim he had flown into a violent rage. However, a series of puncture wounds on Nahid's body suggested a degree of control in what he was doing.
News of Nahid's murder soon reached Julie Finch. Did you think it could be the same person?
Straight away I thought it was, but, you know, that was just my thoughts. I mean, obviously the police couldn't say that, whether they had their suspicions early on or not, but they ran the investigations parallel.
So what you're now thinking?
I'm just thinking there's a nutcase out there. It's obviously a serial killer. So when I was doing the appeals, I wasn't just doing them for Jim, I was doing them for Nahid as well, because obviously her family were abroad and that she didn't really have anyone really speaking for her. You know, we need to get this out there. We need to do a lot of, you know, keep the public aware and also keep the public safe.
On May the 26th, 2015, James Fairweather was ready to kill for the 3rd time. He headed back to Salary Brook Trail, where he had murdered Nahid less than a year before, and patiently waited for another victim.
I can't explain why, but on that particular day, I normally always let the dog off the lead. I didn't. Something spooked me in the bushes. I don't know what it was. Where it is, there's no reason for a man to be down there. And then for some silly reason, he jumped out of one bush and he jumped across the other side into a tree. And he just crouched down and started staring at me, which at this point, I was like, he's really odd. He had these really dark glasses on, and then I realised that he was wearing this beige, like, safari-style jacket that was in the media coverage that they were looking for.
Michelle trusted her instincts and called the police.
The police turn up, they find him with a knife, they find him with gloves. They ask, "What are you doing?" He tells them he's looking for his next victim.